Chapter 1. There is one mirror in my house. It is behind the sliding panel in the hallway upstairs. Our faction allows me to stand in front of it on the second day of every third month, the day my mother cuts my hair. I sit on the stool and my mother stands behind me with the scissors, trimming. The strands fall onto the floor in the dual blonde room. When she finishes, she pulls my hair away from my face and twists it into a knot. I know how calm she looks and how focused she is. She is well practiced in the art of losing herself. I can't say the same for myself. I sneak a look at my reflection when she isn't paying attention, not for the sake of vanity, but out of curiosity. A lot can happen to a person's appearance in 3 months. In my reflection, I see a narrow face, wide round eyes, and a long, thin nose. I still look like a little girl though. Sometimes, in the last few months, I turned 16. The other factions celebrate birthdays, but we didn't. It would be self-indulgent. There, she says when she pins the knot in place. Her eyes catches mine in the mirror. It is too late to look away, but instead of scolding me, she smiles at our reflection. I frown a little. Why does she reprimand me for staring at myself? So, today is the day, she says. Yes, I reply. Are you nervous? I stare into my own eyes for a moment. Today is the day of the aptitude test. That will show me which of the 5 factions I belong in. And tomorrow, at the choosing ceremony, I will decide on the faction. I will decide the rest of my life. I will decide to stay with my family or to abandon them. No, I say. The test don't have to change our choices, right? She smiles. Let's go eat breakfast. Thank you for cutting my hair. She kisses my cheek and slides the panel over the mirror. I think my mom could be beautiful in a different world. Her body is thin beneath the gray robe. She has high cheekbones and long eyelashes. And when she lets her hair down, at night it hangs and waves over her shoulders. But she must hide that beauty in agonization. We walk together to the kitchen. On these mornings when my brother makes breakfast and my father's hand skims my hair and he reads the newspaper, and my mom hums as she clears the table, is on these mornings that I feel guiltiest for wanting to leave them. The bus stinks of exhaustion. Every time it hits a patch of uneven pavement, it jolts me from side to side, even though I'm gripping the seat to keep myself still. My older brother Caleb stands in the aisle holding a rail above his head to keep himself steady. We don't look alike. He has my father's dark hair, hook nose, and my mother's green eyes and dimpled cheeks. When he was younger, the collection of features looked strange, but now it suits him. If he wasn't Abomination, I'm sure the girls at school would stare at him. He also inherited my mom's talent for selfishness. He gave his seat to a surly Condor man on the bus without a second thought. The Condor man wears a black suit with a white tie. Condor standard uniform. Their faction values honesty and sees the truth as black and white. So that is what they wear. The gaps between building narrow and the roads are smoother as we near the heart of the city. The building that was once called the Sears Towers, we call it the Hub, emerges from the fog. A black pillar in the skyline. The buses pass up under the elevated tracks. I have never been on a train though. They never stop running and there are always tracks everywhere. Only the dauntless ride them. 5 years ago, volunteer construction workers from Aggie Nation repaved some of the roads. They started in the middle of the city and worked their way outwards until they ran out of materials. The roads where I live are still cracked and patchy, and it's not safe to drive on them. We don't have a car anyways. Caleb's expression is placid, as the bus sways and jolts on the road. The gray robe falls from the arm as he clutches a pole for balance. I can tell by the constant shift of his eyes that he is watching the people around us, striving to see only them and to forget himself. Condor values honesty, but out of fraction aggravation values selfishness. The bus stops in front of the school and I get up, scooting past the Condor man. I grab Caleb's arm as I stumble over the man's shoulders. My slacks are too long and I've never been that graceful. The upper level buildings in the oldest is the oldest of the school in the city. Lower levels, mid levels, and upper levels. Like all the other buildings around it, it is made of glass and steel. In front of it is a large metal sculpture that the Dauntless climb after school, daring each other to go higher and higher. Last year, I watched one of them fall and break her leg. I was the one who ran to get the nurse. Aptitude test today, I say, Caleb is not quite a year older than me I am. So we are in the same year at school. He nods as we pass through the front doors. My muscles tighten the second we walk in. The atmosphere feels hungry, like every 16-year-old is trying to devour much as is he can get out of this last day. It is like we will not walk these halls again after the choosing ceremony. Once we choose, our factions will be responsible for finishing our education. Our classes are cut in half today, so we will attend all of them before the aptitude test, which take place after lunch. My heart rate is already elevated. You aren't at all worried about what they'll tell you? I asked Caleb. We paused at the split of the hallway where he would go one way towards advanced math and I would go the other way towards faction history. He raises an eyebrow at me. Are you? I could tell him I've been worried for weeks about what the aptitude test would tell me. Abomination, Candor, Elite, Amity, or Dauntless. Instead, I smile and say, not really. He smiles back. Well, have a good day. I walk towards the faction history, chewing on my lower lip. He never answered my question, though. The hallways are cramped through the light coming through the windows creates the illusion of space. They are one in the only places where the faction mix at our age. Today the crowd has a new kind of energy, a last day mania. A girl with long curly hair shouts, "Hey! Next to my ear!" Waving at a distant friend, a jacket sleeve smacks me on the cheek. Then an altitude boy in a blue sweater shoves me. I lose my balance and fall hard to the ground. Out of my way, stiff, he snaps and continues down the hallway. My cheeks warm. I get up and dust myself off. A few people have stopped when I fell, but none of them offered me up to help me up. Their eyes follow me to the edge of the hallway. This sort of thing has been happening to others in my faction for months now. The Aptitude have been releasing at exactly 7:25. The Dauntless proved their bravery by jumping from a moving train. My father calls the Dauntless Hellions. They are pierced tattoos in black clothing. Their primary purpose is to guard the fence that surrounds our city. From what, I don't know. They should perplex me. I should wonder what courage, which is the virtue they most value, has to do with the metal ring through your nostrils. Instead of my eyes cling to them wherever they go. The train whistles blares, the sound resonating in my chest. The light fixed to the front of the train clicks on and off. The train hurtles past the school, squealing on iron roads, and as the last few cars pass, a mass exodus of young men and women in dark clothing hurl themselves from the moving cars. Some dropping and rolling, others stumbling a few steps before regaining their balance. One of the boys wrapping his arm around the girl's shoulder, laughing. Watching them is a foolish practice. I turn away from the window and press through the crowd to the fraction history classroom. Chapter 2 is next week. To be continued. You guys tap in so that way we can guess what book this is. Yeah, my name is Dougie the Professor. It's nice to meet you. Welcome to my podcast, guys. And we're going to be reading, you know. So if you guys are down to listen, then you'll learn something. But our first irrelevant episode is Guess That Book. Follow me for more.